Well, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Perfectly imperfect. Bird, good morning. Bernadette one, good morning. Felicia Fee, good morning. Joyce Vlogs, good morning. Miss Miss Dread. Miss Dread, I wanted to apologize for the last time I was on live. I mispronounced your name, so please forgive me. Good morning, Miss Dread. Trevor Flowers, good morning. Cynthia Jones, good morning and welcome. Felita Williams, good morning and welcome. Welcome all. Welcome one, welcome all. All of you are welcome in the Wednesday Word. Mimi, good morning. Maturish, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Wednesday Word. I'd like to give out thanks to um, all of my subscribers, old subscribers, new subscribers. I appreciate you. All of the content creators that are in here and that have motivated me and encouraged me. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. We have some great content creators in this chat right now. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Um, I would like to shout out something, a video that I saw last night, which was seriously hilarious. And that is to J Dot 1700. J Dot, he keeps doing these videos that are really off the chain. J Dot, it made me smile, it made me laugh, it made me think. And that's what I like about the videos that J Dot is doing. He has truth in his videos. He does a lot of truth while he's telling the truth while he's sort of spoofing and in in I'm getting tongue tied this morning, hilarious way. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. Good morning, Satin. Good morning, Monk Chip. And Maturish, you know how I feel about you. I wanted to say to you, Maturish, um, the other night on the panel, that panel was a breath of fresh air. I enjoyed um, the fact that it was laid back and intelligent at the same time. It was smooth. I appreciate Joyce Vlogs for bringing those uh, four women together who again were mature and matter of fact. Um, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Deanna Irving, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. And welcome. Welcome. 6 of 7, my love. Good morning. Good morning to you and welcome. Everyone is welcome. I appreciate you all coming in this morning. Jill C, good morning and welcome. Everyone is welcome this morning. And I do pray, hope and pray that I share something with you on this Wednesday that will motivate you and give you strength and open up your perspective and open up your mind. Only being real. Good morning and welcome again. Welcome to you. Welcome. I appreciate your being here this morning on Wednesday Word. Um, I'm not making excuses for anything, but people, I have been uh, my body feels like I have been through the meal. I have again been running between New York, Virginia, and West Virginia, and so it's been about a month that I've actually been in between Virginia and West Virginia. So it's been crazy running back and forth. However, I'm not complaining about it. I appreciate everyone that has prayed. Sexy and complete, good morning and welcome. Everyone that was praying for my mom, I appreciate that very, very much. Um, she's a strong woman, and she's out of rehab, and um, she's doing quite well. Quite well. She is an independent Black woman who really doesn't let anything get her down for long. I mean, everybody's amazed at her tenacity and her determination to get herself back on her feet. And I'm telling you, she's back on her feet. She is really back on her feet. So I am grateful and thankful to all of you that prayed and that you shared with me your best wishes and whatnot. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Shireen Reese, good morning and welcome. Welcome you all. I welcome you all. I appreciate your being here. So it's, like I said, it's been a little, uh, and it's a shame because I haven't been able to keep up with my regiment. And my daughter doesn't cook for skinny people. She cooks for, heavy people, all that good food and stuff. And I just went all out. And I'm not depressed about it because I know that all I do is get back on my grind and I'm good. Amen. Angela Johnson, welcome, welcome. Shireen Reese, welcome. Cynthia Jones, Dazzle Me Vic, good morning and welcome. And welcome. I'm Lionese. Good morning and welcome. Rare Carter. Good morning and welcome. Welcome everyone to Mac Association. Again, I find myself in awe, and I appreciate every last one of you that is here this morning. Okay, Wednesday word. Um, Wednesday word. This morning, I have been observing, especially not doing many videos through the course of the situation. I have been mostly observing a lot of things. And so today, in my spirit, um, oh, and let me say, I thank you all for the comments. The comments have helped keep me motivated. I appreciate everyone that sent your comments. Much obliged, much obliged. Really, I appreciate it. Other side of 40, good morning and welcome. Welcome. Okay. So I've been observing a lot of things in the background or in the bushes, if you will. And one of the main things, that I have noticed in all of this, especially since the situation with my mom and everything, I have been watching, and today's Wednesday word, and for some reason, just thinking about it right now, I felt it in my spirit. I got a real jolt. Hey, Cutie Pie 504, welcome. Um, and the word just kept coming. It just kept coming up over and over again. Good morning, Harley Q, and welcome. So the word just kept coming up, and no matter what I tried to put together, the word kept coming up. So, I went to sleep last night, Trina C, well, more like this morning. And in the midst of it, in the midst of my sleep, I just kept feeling this Wednesday word. And I'm going to share it with you. I am going to share it with you. Because again, in my travels, in my observation, Oh Lord. Maybe Deanna, from truth, because the word the Wednesday word that I feel in my spirit, that wouldn't let me go. Um, it's a powerful word, and it when you stop for a minute and just observe things, you will see that a lot of the behaviors that we've been witnessing has a lot to do with this word. And that word this morning, beloveds, is boundaries. Boundary. What I have seen, because most of the time now, well, at least for the last month and a half or month and some days that I've been down here and back and forth and back and forth, and I've been watching from the bushes a lot. I see a lot of people who are crossing boundaries. Um, I see them not respecting boundaries. I see them just disregarding boundaries. And then there's a flip side to some people have no boundaries. They have no boundaries for themselves, and they have no boundaries for others. Uh, they have no concept of boundary. Boundaries are boundaries. They have no boundaries whatsoever. And so when you have no concept of boundaries, you have a tendency not to have any. And here's a word. And you have the tendency to not respect others' boundaries. And I think that's very important for us, as especially those of us who are content creators, that we have to be mindful that boundaries are very important, both boundaries that you set in place and boundaries that others have. Okay? What is a boundary? A boundary is a line that marks the limits of an area, a dividing line. Okay? A limit to a subject or sphere of activity. So a boundary is a defining line. It demarks a place where I will not cross, and I will not allow you to cross. So in other words, it's just like a fence. A fence is a boundary. A fence is a boundary. And there are two areas of boundary. There's an outside of boundaries and there's an inside. So when you think of a fence around a house, you think that there are boundaries on both sides of the fence. Onside April, good morning and welcome. Tread lightly, welcome to Wednesday Word. Rainy D, welcome to Wednesday Word. Monk Chip, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Everyone, welcome. So, I believe On-Site April, if I may use On-Site April as an example, a video I saw maybe a week ago, a few weeks ago, where On-Site April had the dogs in her yard and her children. She calls them her children. She had her children in the yard, and around the yard, I could see the fence. Okay. Now, That boundary kept the dogs inside the fence. And then on the flip side, that fence kept out unwanted and unappreciated events or people. So here is where a lot of us have gone wrong. Here's where a lot of people seem to or appear to be going wrong. They appear to have boundaries for themselves or for others and none for themselves. In other words, I say what I want to anyone and expect them to take it and expect them to be all right. And when someone, but you cannot say whatever you want to me. That's an unfair boundary. That's an unfair boundary. There are boundaries in friendship. Now, when you are friends with someone, and this is very important because a lot of times in friendships, we have a tendency to cross boundaries. And crossing boundaries is a form of disrespect. Crossing boundaries is a form of disrespect and disregard. Okay, it is also a form of manipulation and control. And what I have seen on here, being in the bushes, I've seen a lot of disrespect. I've seen a lot of manipulation and control. And it really astounds me that people on the internet that don't know each other expect to get respect when they don't give it. Or they have a tendency to give it when they want something. And then when they get what they want, they begin to disrespect. Um, it is amazing. It's amazing to me. It is amazing to me that you can have this persona and in this persona, you appear to have strong boundaries of respect and dignity. All right. Or you want that. You show that in a way that anybody that deals with you has to deal with you respecting you and understanding your boundaries. However, when you interact with people, you just do anything you want to do and or say anything you want to say. You're disrespectful, yet you want to be respected. It's amazing to me how people tend to do that. Again, I've been watching these people cross boundaries, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen what's been going on recently. Case in point, and I'm going to speak on this. I wasn't going to speak on or try to speak on specifics, but everybody knows that I came out of the house of Jay Wilson, and there are just certain things that I have been watching, and I have been watching it for a long time. And one of the things I feel obligated to do as a Black male is that when, especially those that are my junior, I feel a responsibility to pull their coattail when I see them veering off or getting too comfortable with disrespect, or when I see them being one way in front of the camera one moment, and then the next time you come on in a couple of minutes, you're this different person who has no regard. So I watched this thing with Jay Wilson and Tracy and Joyce. Now, for me, as being the individual, uh, see, because let's face it, if Tracy is your vlog daughter, then Joyce is your vlog granddaughter. So, in my mind, how you would like things handled is how, as an individual that has offspring, there are ways that you handle that, even if it's in public. Even if it's in public. My issue was the fact that he yelled at these two women as if they were not important. So for me, that crossed a boundary which you tried to project that you had, okay, out of character. So that to me was an example of an individual not or having boundaries for themselves, however, not dealing with or considering other people's boundaries or disrespecting other people's boundaries. And again, I have looked on here and I have seen this with several individuals in several scenarios. People have said that they deal this way and that way, and you can't come over here and cause conflict. This is not a conflict channel. However, they do exactly what they said they don't do. And maybe it's a scheme to lure you in. And then you have these people on here that have no boundaries, none whatsoever. They don't stand for anything and they fall for everything. Wishy-washy. But this is what I'm saying to everyone here today. Check and see, when you attempt to have boundaries, you have to make sure that your boundaries are set in every situation, which means as you change, your boundaries may need to change. The parameters may need to change. Some things that were not, that I did not allow years ago. Now, those things are not that important, or those things are not that personal. And then on the flip side, there are things, some things that I let people get away with back in the day that today they won't get away with. And often, and please get this, often it is more of how you remind people of your boundaries. It's important how you do it. It's very important. It doesn't take screaming and cussing people out. Although I think most of us in here have an excellent vocabulary um, to do that. It's easy to cuss a person out. It's so very easy. Sometimes you have to check an individual because they're impeding upon your boundary. They're pushing or trying to push your boundary back uh, in manipulation to disrespect you. as you age, your boundaries tend to shift a little bit. However, it is important that we have boundaries. It is so important that we have boundaries because, again, if we do not have boundaries, we open up the door for all kinds of disrespect and embarrassment. Now, boundaries do not mean that you, again, cuss someone out because they are attempting to cross the boundaries. I always say, just like the Bible says, again, the Bible is my reference. I always say warning comes before destruction. Now I'm going to give you the first opportunity. It's on me. The second one, I'm going to have to let you know. And listen, let me tell y'all something. Let me share something with you. Let me put it that way. There is nothing wrong in checking a person that is crossing a boundary. There is nothing wrong with that. There's no disrespect. And then some people are innocent. Some people don't realize, may not have realized what your boundaries were in certain areas. So checking a person is not always letting them have it or beating them over the head. And even in that, communication is key. And I speak about communication, I think in almost every one of my lives and in my videos. Clear and please, 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 if you have a pen and paper or what have you, please write this down because it's an excellent reminder. Clear communication brings about clear understanding. Clear communication brings about clear understanding. It is important that when you communicate, especially about your boundaries, when you communicate it, it has to be clear. It has to be clear. It is very important that it is clear so that that person gets a clear and complete understanding of what your boundaries are. And then it becomes easier for that individual to respect your boundaries and you to respect theirs. If everyone communicated clearly, a lot of stuff on here would not go on. A lot of stuff would not, there would be less breakups or less negative or breakups that appear negative. Okay? Communication. Communication is key. It is key to understanding each other. It is key. Please, please get this. Get this. And let me say this. Just because you are a Leo, a Virgo, Sagittarius, Libra, Capricorn, Pisces, listen, people, that stuff does not matter when it comes to understanding. The only reason why, and if anyone wants to dispute this before they dispute it, what I'm going to need you to do is I'm going to need you to do your research. The only reason or the main reason that there is misunderstanding, it is because of miscommunication. And one of the things I found out, or better yet, I've said this in another video, there is no such thing as a stupid question. The only stupid question is the question that is not asked. The only stupid question is the question that is not asked. Because if I'm sharing with you, if I am letting you know what my boundaries are, and there is something about it that you don't understand, and you do not ask the question, and see, I'm gonna say this. I'm going to say this with the GCS situation, in my observation, is that individuals did not communicate properly. See, there is a thing where we talk. However, a lot of us talk, but we don't communicate, because communicating is asking questions and getting answers. If there's something you don't understand, you ask an individual so that you and the individual have a clear understanding. And in having a clear understanding, that makes or that causes you to be aware of the boundaries so that you don't cross their boundaries and they don't cross yours, where you don't cross your own boundary and allow them to cross yours. We get so involved in our feelings that we don't communicate. So much of our trials and tribulations, so much of our trials and tribulations can be avoided. They can be avoided with just clear communication, asking and telling, or asking and answering. A lot of conflict can be avoided with communication. I didn't understand what you were saying in your video. So instead of me getting clarity, I'm going to run on my live, do a live and let you have it. And what does that look like to people on the outside looking in? Number one, I'm going to tell you this, what it looks like. It looks like drama. It looks like mess. And let's face it, we all love the excitement of a little mess. We all love mess. I don't care who you are. I don't care how 6 o'clock you are or how 9:15 you are. Everybody loves a little mess. It's exciting. I'm sorry for laughing, but when I think about it, it does something to your insides when there's a little mess going on. And I get it. But the mess goes too far and it goes too deep because we don't communicate. We break relationships up because we don't communicate. We don't communicate clearly. We don't ask the necessary questions to get a clear understanding of the individual and their boundaries. And then we don't explain ourselves properly so many times so that the misunderstanding is not cleared up. So we walk away with these feelings. And again, I keep telling y'all, and I don't mean to, that's not talking down to anybody. Because when I heard myself say that, I was like, oh, wait a minute. Because I'm not here to talk down to anybody. I'm here to uplift. But I keep saying, you cannot feel and think at the same time. When you're in your feelings, you are in your feelings, beloved. You cannot think and feel at the same time. So my suggestion is, and I try to practice this. I know we're not always there. There's sometimes that we all lose it. But we have to practice. We have to practice thinking. Now, again, in the GCS situation, in my observation, one thing I would have said that all of you could have done, and that would have dissipated a lot of discomfort and a lot of emotion, was to practice kibis. And kibis means keep your big yap shut until you get an understanding with each other. You should have been quiet, because this situation could have been worked out even if you all don't come back together and don't do GCS anymore. It still could have been worked out in such a wonderful manner between all of you, and everybody not having any uncomfortable or wrenching feelings toward the other where you don't want to be bothered. It is so important on these YouTube streets, because this stuff will never go away. That the impression that's, you see, the thing is that we are, each individual that has a platform on here, this is a legacy. And I've said this before, so this is just a reminder. This is a legacy. This is something that will forever be in space, that can be snatched out of space at any moment and watched. And so my question is always, what will your legacy be down the line when you're dead and gone? What have you left? Has it been misunderstanding? And why misunderstanding? Misunderstanding because we're too lazy to do the work. And when I say lazy, that's not an insult. I mean, we just don't want to allow ourselves to think. We're more about the momentary gratification of our feelings. Because when you're in your feelings, you want gratification. And a lot of times you get that gratification for the moment. However, the long-term effect has not been considered or contemplated. I mean, in the whole matter. And the long-term effects of momentary gratification never balance out. And we've seen it time and time again. Cuss you out for the moment, and it feels good. God knows it feels wonderful. But the long-term effect is you've lost credibility, you've lost respect, and on here, you lose subscribers. You lose subscribers. You lose subscribers. And when that happens, you begin to lose revenue. So, was that momentary gratification, that feeling, that satisfaction from that feeling that you had, was it worth it? Or would it have been best to take 30 to 60 seconds just to keep your big yap shut and get an understanding? In my opinion, I'd rather take the 30, 60 seconds to keep my mouth closed and still be in control. Denny Upkins, welcome. Now, I've talked about J Dot this morning and I haven't seen him on here. But anyway, welcome to everyone, all of the people that are coming in. Fee O'Brien, good morning and welcome. So think about your boundaries. See, and some of us, we do not have definite boundaries in place. And let me tell you what's very dangerous. What is very dangerous is when you don't have boundaries and or better yet, you have boundaries, but they flip. They're not set in stone, so to speak. You know, like when you put up a fence, there's concrete involved. Okay, there's concrete involved, that the posts go down in the concrete, so that when you finish putting up the fence, there are anchors Some of us have boundaries that move with every relationship that we have. That is dangerous. That's very dangerous. That's very dangerous to change your boundaries for every relationship that you're in. And that causes a lot of confusion with individuals. And this is why individuals, they may not fight with you, but you've got two friends that, and I love this, you have two friends and you have different boundaries for each of those friends, but all of you associate together, you hang out together. And so often those two friends think that they know you, or they think that they know your boundaries. However, each of them, your boundaries, depending upon the situation, your boundaries change. Now, when a person feels that they are a friend to you, you've let them in to your inner circle. When you have boundaries that shift and they think that they know the friend that you are, oftentimes it causes conflict between the two, because what happens is you let one um, impede the boundaries that you may have for the other friend. And so now confusion has started, because each of them again have different boundaries, or your boundary shifts for the two of them, and it will cause conflict. And usually you'll notice that it will cause conflict between the friends before, because the friends have this understanding of what you've shown them as your boundaries each time you've changed them. So it's confusing. It's same thing with a child. If you change your boundaries with a child that is impressionable, now let's understand, children, the first 5 years of a child's existence is when they soak up everything. So when you don't have boundaries, or you have boundaries that shift, it is confusing. And people have a tendency, for instance, it's like being, or for example, it's like being phony. It's like being phony. It's like being two-faced, because you got boundaries for this one and it's not the same boundaries for that one. And in this situation, I couldn't say this in front of you, but this individual can say whatever they want to you or in front of you. And you check me when I do that, but you don't check them. And it's confusing. And so what it begins to cause an animosity. And sooner or later, people are going to get into situations and scuffs with each other. And most of the time, we don't recognize that the culprit is the individual that's wishy-washy, that doesn't have a set boundary. And usually we don't realize it until late. That's the reason why I'm here, to open up your eyes. Lady Karen, hey, Lady Karen, welcome. This is why your boundaries should be set boundaries, even if it makes you uncomfortable. Why? Because if it makes you uncomfortable and you stick to your boundaries, then guess what? It will be difficult for anyone to impede your boundaries. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What is this? What is this? What is this? What in the world? What is this mess on my computer? What is going on here? Oh, I'm still live, but I don't know what this is, y'all. Something just popped up. Okay, there it is. Got it off. I don't know what that was, but that was crazy. But it affects everyone when you do not have set boundaries. So set your boundaries. Set your boundaries. Okay, thank you, Maturish. But something just popped up in my screen that totally blocked me out. I couldn't see anything. I'm like, what in the world is going on here? But see, that's how the devil is when so often, and I'm not going to say the devil because so often we blame things on the devil that ain't have nothing to do with him. But the forces that, there are so many forces out here that do not want us to be uplifted. They do not want us to be in agreement. They do not want us to walk in, walk in. My grandson was over here doing things because he just got up. Anyway, um, that because listen, let me tell y'all something. Oh, I'm gonna share this with you, and it's nothing new, but maybe it will sink in, and we'll begin to get a different perspective. We are the most powerful, gifted individuals on this earth. We are thinkers. We invented critical thinking. Okay. We were born with critical thinking skills. We just have to exercise them. However, if we truly, truly come together with one accord, with one mind, beloveds, this world as we know it will be shifted back into its place. At that point, everything will be aligned as it should be. So there are forces out here, and people don't recognize the forces that are attempting to keep us from coming together because of the time. It is time. It is actually time. I don't care whether you're high yellow. I don't care whether you crispy dark. It is high time for our people to come together and take our rightful place. And there are forces that don't want it to happen because all the calamity in the world would suddenly cease if we took our place. So I'm saying this for us to take our place in ourselves first. And then what begins to happen is it draws us all together. You could be in California and I'm in Vermont, but things will shift because we're in our place and we have come together with one mind, with one accord. But as long as and I don't understand what people are seeing. And when I say this, certain people come to mind, and it's just crazy that some of us keep doing the same thing over and over and over again and getting no results. And I'm keeping myself from getting um, emotionally passionate. But these people, they run from platform to platform when there is fallouts, when there are disagreements, when there is shade, when there are alliances or relationships broken. They run in like vultures and suddenly become subscribers, and they become wrench holders, and they perpetuate the mess. They perpetuate it's like they feed off of division. They feed off division. And it's amazing to me that they don't see it themselves. People can stand back and observe that you do this, and I'm trying my best not to mention names, but and I feel myself rising up, but it disgusts me. It disgusts me to hear in one sentence you say, I'm a black woman, you're a black woman, and this black woman is going to need us. And then less than 30 seconds later, if that long, you're calling people black bitches. Excuse me for black, you know, the F bomb, the C bomb, and I'm like, really, for real, for real. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, Yahweh, give me strength. Please give me strength, because if I could reach into this screen, I would snatch them and shake them like a rag doll. Or better yet, I would shake their brain back into the correct position where it worked properly. Because somewhere along the line, you've gotten off, and and you feel comfortable in calling people out of their names. You feel comfortable in a derogatory. Now, see, there's some people that just use these words, right or wrong. I get it. Whether we feel it's right or wrong, there are people just that use these words the same way they use the same way they use to, a, I'm going to the store. I have a pickle. You know, some people use those words just like that. And I get it. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. However, most of us know who these people are, and we know they don't mean any harm. But now, when an individual is being derogatory, okay, we know when they're being derogatory. We know when when it's when it's a statement or a word being used to hurt an individual. So, and then the attitude is, I'm a black bitch, so I can call you a black bitch. Are you stupid? Are you really that stupid? Really? And my mother always said when we were young, and even now sometimes she says it when we get caught up. She's like, use your words. Use your words. Go back into your vocabulary. If you claim to be intelligent, if you claim to have achieved education, succeeded at education, use your words. Because trust me, I love a good cuss out. Love a good cuss out. But I like to do it on a level that you don't realize you've been cussed. Or now I'm telling the secret. You don't realize you've been cussed out until after you think about it. See, we have to get to the place where we make each other think. Yeah, I use the word make. In the context of cause, we have to cause each other to think. We're not doing that. We're not challenging each other, not in a negative or controlling way, but challenging each other with love and kindness, with respect and dignity, pulling each other to the side. And even if it's done online, ladies and gentlemen, there's a way of doing it where the person does not feel like you've made them feel small. Listen, let me tell you something. When I hear Deanna Irving, when I hear Tracy Living My Truth, um, even D. Ramsey, when I hear these people going off, I get my life, Lord. Lord, Lord knows they give me life. Y'all, they give me life. Oh, who you talking about? Get into it. I'm sorry, but I'm thinking about it. I mean, it gives me life. And there's a place and there's a time and a place for that. And most of the time, I notice these people, they don't do this until someone really has really decided to go out of their way. However, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not trying to change anybody from being who they are, because remember, I just said I get my life. Ooh, and even Food Junkie, I've seen Food Junkie go in a couple of times, and I'm like, ooh, bruh, okay, you got that thing. Please excuse me. Oh man, I've hit a funny bone with that, and trust me, that came from the heart, because I'm telling you, when they go in, I'll be sitting there like, my, yes, good 'em. Um, oh, let me gain my control back. I mean, that's good in its place, and like I said, it's hilarious, or better yet, I get my life. But if you noticed, they have to be pushed. They really have to be pushed, and they have said it over and over again. They have tried to rectify the situation in an intelligent interaction. Ooh, but Deanna, I don't know. Let me see. Is Deanna still in here? Deanna, you give me life. Baby, you give me life, because nobody can do it like you. I mean, the Southern drawl and the preciseness, it just gives me total life, baby. I love it. But anyway, um, but we have to be so much more. Um, However, and we understand how these people are. We get their personality. And the thing is that they are not changing, they are the same. But until you push that button, there's no problem. When you cross that boundary, that's when they go in. I was up 3 o'clock this morning. I just happened to be up at that time, and I got a notification, and Tracy was letting have. And I must admit, I got my life. I got my life. However, anyway, getting back on subject, boundaries is very important, and we must establish and set boundaries. And again, boundaries is not only to keep people out, but it is for you to maintain a mindset and a behavior. Okay, here's a boundary that I will not cross, and here also is a boundary that I will not allow you to cross. And when we begin to operate with clear, set boundaries, our relationships, and see, this is the reason for so many marriages breaking up, because we don't set boundaries. We don't set boundaries in how we treat each other. We don't set boundaries, especially financially. And marriages break up constantly because of financial reasons, because there are no set boundaries. Yeah, yeah, Felicia Fee. I was pinky toe tickled on that one. I thought I thought for a minute I was going to completely lose it, so I had to reel it back in. I had to reel it back in, baby. Had to reel it back in. So yeah, had to reel that thing back in. I think that's the first time I've really laughed like that on my live. But just wanted to encourage you all about boundaries, and let's begin to operate. Let's begin to operate in boundaries, because when people know your boundaries and they disrespect your boundaries, then you have every right to lower the hammer. You could do a Deanna or a Tracy. And the thing I like about when Tracy goes in, it's like Sister Girl goes in she may start at, I say, 60 miles an hour. And I'll be watching her, and Tracy will go nonstop without taking a breath. You don't know how she's getting the breath, but she goes in, and y'all, please forgive me. I love it. Anyway, okay. Let me catch it back again. Hold on. Got to pull it back in. Remember, boundaries. A boundary is a line that marks the limits. It marks the limits, in other words, of where you can go, and vice versa, where I can go, where you are allowed to tread, where I am allowed to tread. Okay? A line that marks the limits of an area. It is a dividing line. It is a dividing line. Okay? A limit of a subject or sphere of activity. All right? So there should be boundaries that we all have, that we will not disrespect and that we will not allow disrespect. And that means also people doing it in our presence, even to someone else. And I think all of us have that experience where we had grandmothers and or aunties and uncles and stuff, that there's just certain ways that when they were present, certain things that anybody and everybody would not do, because they knew that big mama, auntie, big uncle would get into you with no problem. So we just didn't do certain things in their presence. We didn't disrespect other people in their presence because we knew that they were going to get us. So when you have clear boundaries, it is a blessing to everybody. It's a blessing to everybody. And what it does, it gives other individuals the strength and the courage to set their own boundaries. Again, we are walking epistles. We are walking examples every day. We are examples in our daily lives for other people to build upon. Your living your life, and we often think that living our lives, that the lives that we live are for our children and for our loved ones. But understand, it is also for people that are outside of us that are looking into us. It's just like a light. When you have a light in darkness, everyone is blessed with being able to see. Everyone is blessed with your illumination because you're illuminating every area that you go in. It's not just for you and yours, it's to encourage other people that may not have boundaries, that will then seek the skill to set boundaries in their own life. It is repetitive, it is contagious, it is infectious, it is effective. Okay, it is effective and infectious. It begins to encourage somebody and strengthen somebody else to do what they need to do in their lives. Danae Azure, I agree with you. Listen, and what I'm saying does not just apply for the young to the old, but the old to the young. Because what's happened so often is that people become seniored and they feel like things are due them just because they are senior and that they no longer have to put in the work. One of the things I believe your work is never done. Your work is never done. It is always progression. It is always a progression from the day you're born to the day you die. So you have to respect to get respect. And the best way to demand respect is to give respect first. So whether you're old or young, and I agree with you, so often these older individuals or more seasoned individuals feel that they're at a place where uh, you have to give them respect. Yes, well, there's a certain amount of respect that you give to everybody. However, if you do not show me respect as being an elder, or a more seasoned individual, then if you can't respect me, then the respect I give you has to be limited because uh, I don't want to. Um, I don't want you to walk away or to keep believing that you get respect just because you're old. Um, hmm, Again, there's a certain amount of respect that's due you. However, there's a certain amount of respect that you have to give. And that should be something that's natural. I should never have to remind an older person that I'm due respect. I should never have to do that. That's ludicrous. It should be reciprocal. And it should be, each one of us should be, it should be like a contest. It should be like a contest. We're trying to beat each other out in respecting. I'm trying to respect you first. You trying to respect me first. And when you look at it like that, everybody would be more apt to respecting each other. Everybody, you know what? Maybe I should make that a challenge. Maybe I should make that a challenge. Challenge each one of you to give respect first. And I'm telling you, it would be amazing to see the outcome of everybody attempting to be the first one to give respect. That would be amazing. Just think about that. Wouldn't that be amazing? That would be amazing. That would be amazing. Everyone interacting with everyone, trying to be the first one to give respect, then it becomes so much easier to respect. But now there's a flip side to that too. There's a flip side to that statement. If one does not have self-respect, it is difficult for one to respect anyone. Let me say that again. If an individual does not have self-respect, it is difficult for that individual to have respect for anyone else. And furthermore, it is difficult for that person to accept respect and receive respect. It becomes very difficult for that person to receive respect because they have no respect for themselves. It's like not knowing what respect is. How are you going to receive respect if you don't know what it is? You don't know what it looks like. So you have to have respect, self-respect. You have to respect yourself, because when you respect yourself, you find it difficult to disrespect other people. So when you look around these YouTube streets and you're wondering why people are doing what they're doing and saying what they're saying in beefs and whatnot, it is because there's a lack of respect for oneself. Again, we are all interconnected. We are all spiritually connected. We are all spiritually connected. So when you have a lack of respect for yourself, then you cannot respect me. You can fake it. You can be an actor and act like you got it. However, you will always show who you are. It will always contradict you. You can act like you got it today, but this moment, but it will fail you. Your real self will fail the phony. Zionia Pearl, welcome. Oh, it's good to see you. It's really, really good to see you. Cynthia Jones, everybody, 6 of 7. You know how I feel about you, 6 of 7. God bless you. And China Doll. I think I saw China Doll in here. I appreciate you so much, China Doll. God bless you. I appreciate everyone that is in the chat. I appreciate all the content creators, all the wonderful and creative content creators that Melancholy, welcome. Thank you for being here. Gwen Daniels, Jill C. I appreciate every last one of you and your comments. Gwen Daniels, good morning. Johnny Mac and chat, good morning. Good morning. 6 of 7, again, yeah. I appreciate every one of you. Good morning all to Mr. Carter. Gamage, if I'm mispronouncing it, please forgive me. Gamage Carter, welcome, welcome, welcome. Again, today's Wednesday word is boundaries. Boundaries. Please practice. Please set up boundaries in your life and in your relationships with other people. And respect the boundaries of others. Please respect the boundaries of others. That will take you a long way. It will take you a long way. When you respect boundaries, people begin to find favor in you. They find favor in you. And when others are going berserk, people will open doors for you because you recognize and respect boundaries. Now, again, I appreciate all the wonderful content creators that were in the platform that was on the platform this morning. You all give me life, you give me strength, and you motivate me to share with you. some of the experiences of my life so that, um, again, my goal is not to change your mind. That is not my goal on YouTube. It is not to change your mind. What it is, what I'm here for, is to give you a different perspective to broaden your mind so that we understand that instead of swallowing a camel and gagging at a gnat, instead of doing that, we see things as they are and we're able to maneuver, and not just maneuver away from, but maneuver in solution. We walk in solution. We have every ability to solve problems rather than cause problems. And just a little respect and love will solve a whole lot of issues. A little respect, a little love, a little dignity. My grandson is having issues. Please forgive me. With ice. Just a little love, respect. And again, I have to say this to everyone. Love yourself. Because every relationship and every interaction that you have with any individual outside of you stems from what's inside of you. If you're empty of love, if you have no love, if you have no self-love, no self-respect, this is how you will deal with people. And again, remember, you can always fake it. But faking it is like wearing plastic shoes on a 110-degree day. Just let your mind see the picture. It's 110 degrees outside and you're wearing plastic shoes. You know what's going to happen. That ground is so hot that your shoes are going to be melting from up under your feet. In other words, they don't last if you're not operating from that place of loving yourself. Love covers. Love covers. Love is understanding. Love is acceptance. Irregardless of an individual's flaws, I accept you as you are. I love you as you are. However, I'm going to continue to love you until you walk into your purpose. That doesn't mean that I'm going to be quietly on the sideline because I love you. And I love you because I love me. And I want you to experience the freedom of loving yourself and giving yourself permission. So now, beloveds, I want you to be blessed on this Wednesday and have a wonderful Wednesday. Let's see, what time is it? It's almost 12 o'clock. Absolutely wonderful. I want you to enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. I appreciate you coming in here for my Wednesday word. I really, really appreciate the support of all the content creators, the subscribers, the old subscribers, new subscribers, my day one. I appreciate all of you. Again, the comments that you make are very encouraging, whether they are negative or positive, because some of them negative comments, I be on the floor laughing. I mean, it really, and listen, laughter is very good. It's very good. There's a healing. There is something healing in laughing. So on this Wednesday, make sure you laugh today. Make sure you laugh today. Make sure you laugh today on this wonderful Wednesday, and love yourself. Uh, I like the way Food Junkie says it. Food Junkie says, love yourself, love someone else, respect yourself, and respect someone else. On this wonderful Wednesday, I decree much love to you. Much love. More love than your mind can conceive. More love than your heart can feel. And much more love than your hands can actually hold. I do wish you authentically from my heart. I wish you love. I decree and declare love on your life. And today will be a wonderful day in your life. Doors will open up that will close to your success and to your furtherance. And the doors that were open for your destruction will be slammed shut so that you won't walk into destruction. Have a wonderful Wednesday. Much love to everyone. Thank you so much. Love you. Oh, shoot. Using the wrong thing.